Yes, sir, the pink iPhone.
Yeah, yeah, this is my girlfriend's.
I had an idea.
Going back to your first answer, how do you foster that culture? And specifically, I wanted to ask you, you know, you're going to be talking about white privilege. You've talked about that in your lyrics before. How do you?
I don't talk about it a lot, but okay.
Yeah.
I think that's just a key word.
How do you, you know, again, like how do you foster it so, you know, there's more prominent rap bloggers, there's more writers for Rolling Stone who aren't just, you know, white hipsters from Brooklyn?
Man, they're good writers out there. You know, I think that unfortunately people aren't reading as much. Period. You know,
Right.
we need and it seems that the people who can't read have the most popular blogs. But like that guy who doesn't like me. But you may not be a young minority who's bright enough to get to write for the Rolling Stone. My question is, what are you going to create? You know, what are you going to create? At a certain point, the Rolling Stone was a rag magazine that some older magazine laughed at. You know, the Source magazine at its height, it started right over at Harvard. The Source magazine at its height was one of the most powerful magazines I ever read as a child because it had music, right? It had culture, and it had politics. So I was informed politically as a child. I'm 14, 15 years old. I'm reading a magazine, and I'm reading about the Brazilian youth constitution and movement in the Source. You know, I was in Atlanta organizing with a group of kids called Kids for Change. We partnered with adults. We organized on behalf of kids against police brutality. This is in 90, 91, 92, 93. We were organizing then. We didn't realize that there was another group of kids on Mission Street in San Francisco called RISE, Raising Youth for Social Equality, and we both had systems that were based on a Brazilian style of organizing street children there who were being murdered by police. Now, we didn't know. We came up with that. It was RISE directly patterned themselves after that, but it was only because we got introduced that I knew that there was a bigger world and there were other kids who thought like that. So, you know, for me, man, it's about partnering with the people who are most in need of help. It's not about solving it and doing it for them. So if you're a writer and the Rolling Stone won't have you, what are you going to create? What are you going to create to make sure that the message that you have still gets out? Eric Nielsen came to me. Eric Nielsen is a doctor. He's a professor at University of Virginia. Eric is passionate about rappers' rights in terms of rappers, amateur rappers. In one case, he made to the Supreme Court, but amateur rappers are being prosecuted for shit they rap. Like, man, I'm the son of a police officer. I have rapped about shootouts with the police. I rapped about police chases. The shit I rap about, I should be locked up for. I've never been to jail in my life. And that isn't to say, hey, I'm not real, it's not real what I'm saying. What I'm saying is real in the imagination that I want you to see a movie, I want you to see a story. I want you to see a movie like I watched Departed, like, wow. But I don't think Jack Nicholson's Whitey Bulger, you know? So who's gonna be the writer to come up to finally show the world that this is what we're doing, and this is the alternative to whatever magazine would have them? So I've encouraged people to keep writing. I've encouraged people who don't look like the guys on the top to keep writing, but with that said, as the constituency, what are we going to do to support these people? It's easy for some of my white friends to become writers because their parents are financially cool. And I don't mean well-off rich. I just mean their house is paid for. Their parents did the right thing. They retired with a pension. You know what I mean? My homeboy who grew up with a single mom, her mom might need help. His mom might need help with her taxes on his house. Like I had to pay my mom's taxes this morning. You know what I mean? That $1,000 might fuck him up. So he might have to take a bullshit job with another magazine. You know? So I would just say, figure out ways to help those people. Figure out ways to point people toward their blog. Figure out ways to yell and scream to someone listens. Eric has been yelling and screaming for 2-3 years about the unfairness of prosecuting black guys for their rap lyrics, but we don't prosecute guys from Tennessee who are white for their country murder ballads. You know, we've never prosecuted Johnny Cash for killing the man, shooting the man in Reno just to watch him die. But when Eric and I hooked up, and all of a sudden there was a rapper with him, people start paying a little more attention, the articles start growing, and bigger articles are coming. But he yelled and screamed until someone came and said, I'm partnering with you, I'm with you. And I think that that's what we have to do in the room. If we're yelling and screaming, and you see, again, this goes back to working with people who don't look like you. If you know this person is right, it can be as easy as standing next to them, or it can be as easy as if you are within the magazine complex saying, this is a valuable story, let us co-write it together. But you have to do things unconventionally if you're unconventional. And, you know, unfortunately, being a minority in this system is pretty unconventional, you know? Yes, sir.
So kind of,
Okay, could I